Hi everyone, this is Jackie Jones, founder and CEO of Way We Do. In a previous video, I took everyone through setting up an activated checklist instance, and when that instance started, it would then send a message to Microsoft Teams in a channel to let everyone know that that particular process had started. So in the case of an incoming food received process, which a lot of food businesses need to follow and implement within their businesses, that may be that when this process starts, that instead of a message being sent to Microsoft Teams at the initiation of that checklist instance, that rather a message is sent to Microsoft Teams when the process is completed. And one way of doing that and connecting Microsoft Teams with Way We Do is with the use of Microsoft Flow. So I'm going to show you how to set up that connector within Microsoft Flow. So then when a process or an activated checklist instance finishes within Way We Do, it can then send a message to a channel within Microsoft Teams. Okay, so I'm going to jump across to Microsoft Flow here. And so I've got a list of flows that I have already created, but I'm going to create a new one by clicking the new button, and I'll be creating it from blank. Your first step is to find the Way We Do connector. It's this one here with the Way We Do logo. And the trigger that we would like to start or would like to set up is when a checklist is finished. So I'm going to click this option. Okay, so with Way We Do and with this particular checklist, we don't want a message to be sent to Microsoft Teams when any checklist is completed. We want it to be sent to Microsoft Teams when the incoming food received process is finished. And to do that, we need to click the New Step option. And then we're going to select an action here. So rather than selecting another app, we're going to choose an action here which is called Condition. And this means that we can find a specific master activated checklist in Way We Do. So when any of those instances are completed, that's when the trigger for this flow will occur. So in this case, it says choose a value. So we want to choose a procedure ID. So the procedure ID is essentially the master checklist that you have set up within Way We Do. And it says here that master or the procedure ID is equal to, and we need to enter an ID. So we need to go back to Way We Do and then find the process or the activated checklist where that procedure ID is. So one way of doing that is going to your to the manual section. Clicking on the required activated checklist or master process. So this is the incoming food received process. And I'm going to choose or select this ID here that's in the URL. So that is the procedure ID. And if we go back to Microsoft Teams and then paste that in the value field. Okay, so when the checklist is finished, but only when the procedure ID is equal to this particular ID, which is the incoming food received process, then we want an action to occur. So if it's yes, we're going to select an action here, and this is where we select Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to do a search for Teams. And there's a range of actions that are available. And the one that we want to choose is the post message option. And this means that we can define what the message will be that will be posted into the Microsoft Teams channel. So in this case, I'm going to choose the unique ID of the team. So I've created one earlier called Macarons Forever for our mock macarons bakery. And it's going to go to the general channel. And then we can also define or create the structure of the message that will be posted to that channel. So in this case, we can say food has been delivered to, and maybe it's a particular store. Let's say the Ormiston store. And we can also set in or insert fields. So the dynamic content appears on the right-hand side here. So what we want is maybe the instance title. And so we've set it up so that when an instance is created, that we've instructed the user to insert or type in or speak the supplier name, and that gets inserted into the instance title. So that will appear within the message. You may also want to add in the URL. So I'll just go down here a little bit. I'll select instance URL, and there's an option here which is finished by. So you may want to add the name or the email address of the user that finished the checklist. So let's just, I'm going to put a break between those. So we have those on a different line there. Okay, so when you've completed that particular message, then simply just click away into another area, and then that has been completed. And if we look at the no section, we don't have to add anything here. So if the procedure ID does not equal the incoming received food ID, then if you don't add an action, it means it won't do anything. And so we want to keep that as being blank. Okay, so let's enter the title. And maybe the title is incoming food received, Microsoft Teams message sent upon completion. So you can tailor this message or the title however you would like that to be. From there, we'll click Save. And after that, we can then test this process to ensure that it is working. So if I click Test here, there's a couple of options here. I'm going to choose this option that I'll perform the trigger action, which means I have to go into Way We Do and run the activated checklist instance. So I'll just click Save and Test. And it says here to see it work now, perform the starting action. This may take a few moments. So we'll need to go into Way We Do. And we already have a couple of activated checklists running. So I'll just click Resume here. So I'll just complete this process. So is the food acceptable? Yes, it is. We can then enter the temperature. So maybe it was, below 5 degrees. Again, this is in European degrees Celsius. If it was American, it would be degrees Fahrenheit. And then we've got the final action here, which is the food accepted or rejected? So I'll just click accepted here. And of course, with any of these options, you can leave additional messages in the notes field. So I'm going to go back to Microsoft Flow. And it actually says at the top here that the flow ran successfully. So when the checklist was completed, and it was a particular checklist instance that was completed, which was the incoming food received process. And then if yes, then post a message. And we've got the little green tick there saying that it has done that. And if no, there's nothing displayed here. So let's go across to Microsoft Teams and we'll see this message appear. So we've got this option here, this message, which says that food has been delivered to the Ormiston store. It's this particular supplier on this particular date. This is the name of the user or the email address of the user who started this or completed this process, and then the URL to view this completed instance. Okay, so that's just a quick example of integrating Way We Do with Microsoft Teams using Microsoft Flow as a connector between those two applications. If you have any questions about Way We Do, you need some support, please email our team support@waywedo.com. You can also visit our support site, which is support.waywedo.com. And if you haven't got a Way We Do trial account, feel free to go to our website and create a new account for yourself. And the address there is www.waywedo.com. And we're looking forward to speaking with you in the future.